Welcome to the Del Walmsley Radio Show. Del challenges the status quo, questions everything, and empowers you to return to your core beliefs to make your life better. If you're ready to hear the truth and get your roadmap to the lifestyle you really want, the next hour will change your life. And now, your host, self-made millionaire, national award-winning investor of the year, CEO and founder of Lifestyles Unlimited, Del Walmsley.
Welcome to the Del Walmsley Radio Show, where the hype ends and the help begins. I'm your host, Del Walmsley, and as always, we're working on your financial freedom. And boy, have I got a show for you today. I've got everything from how to make 100% return all the way down to what do you do if you're $150,000 in the hole? Where do you start? And what are your steps to take? It's all over the place today from top to bottom. But I'm going to start with yesterday's show because we had three topics. We got to two of the three topics, so we're going to pick up the third topic today. Yesterday's show started with the premise that the quality of your life is directly related to the balance of your life decisions. In other words, you've made all these decisions in every part of your life, and they've led to the life that you have now. And we went into that both socially, emotionally, physically, sexually, relationship-wise, spouse-wise, kids-wise, friends-wise, the whole bit. And then we got off into finances, which is what we're really all about here. And we discussed some learning lessons, some learning curves in my life that changed my life. And the first one was never lose money. And the belief system that you have to lose money, that losing is a part of the game, is a belief system that I had to overcome. It's something you get taught very early on in life. That there's a direct, relationship between risk and reward. And what I'm going to cover today shows that that's just not necessarily the truth. Some of the most profitable investments I've ever made were the least risky of all investments. Whereas the stuff that was not very profitable was probably the riskiest because the chances of it to go wrong were so high because there was so little profit that anything that took a left-hand turn would have taken the profit right off the table and made it a non-profitable type investment. So losing money is something you've been taught your whole life that you have to do. And I covered it yesterday, so if you want to go back and look at the podcast, I talked about, hey, stop being convinced that you have to lose money. There is a absolute perfect way to not lose any money. It's not perfect, that's the wrong way to say it, but realistic way is that you don't ever invest. If you don't ever invest, you're never going to lose any money in investments. That's not the answer, obviously. The obvious answer is to do safe investments that you know what you're doing and you know are safe, right? Step number two, though, was that you has to be cash flow or it's not an investment. I don't know where people came up with the idea, where it evolved from, that you should take your money out of circulation yourself and give it to somebody else and let that somebody else actually make money with your money. You're not afraid of them making money with your money. You're not afraid of them losing your money, although they do all the time, right? Which I will cover for you later in today's show, some stuff about financial planners and their thought process and so forth. But the bottom line is you're not afraid to let them lose your money. Why are you afraid you'll lose your money? And so you don't put it into anything that pays you money. Well, then you're defeated. The very reason you have to get up and go to work for the rest of your life, even into your 70s, possibly even 80s at this point, is because you have no cash flow. You have no way to support yourself. Having a pile of money just doesn't make it in this day and age. That pile of money can go away instantly. Many, many things can come into play and take your pile of money away from you. Not to mention inflation, which I never cover. I don't even make that a part of my conversation because everything I'm invested in is inflation adjusted. If there is inflation, my real estate values go up. If there is inflation, my rents go up. My income goes up to cover inflation. I'm in an inflation-adjusted investment world. So I don't worry about inflation, but a lot of people do, and their money's sitting there somewhere where there's no inflation protection. And so you have no cash flow, you have no inflation protection, you have nothing. You're getting nothing. Look in the mail, folks. Each day, look for that check. Does your 401k send you a check? No, you actually pay it every month. Boy, a 401k is like a bad, bad family member. You can't get rid of them. They just keep lingering out there. You keep paying them. You're thinking someday I'll pay these people off and they'll go away, but they won't. That 401k is a noose around your neck for the rest of your life. You'll keep paying and paying and paying. And will they ever pay you back? No. Just like a bad family member that comes to live with you, they'll never pay you back. You'll never get a return back for all that paying in that you've done. There's no cash flow. There's no check coming out of your 401k each month into your hands. And by the way, by the time you retire and you do pull it out, it's your own money anyway. So you're just getting back the money you've already earned, and you're paying taxes on the money you've already earned. And by the way, you've already paid Social Security and Medicare tax on that money. Now you're paying income tax on it again. So what have you done? Nothing. Your IRA doesn't pay you money. Paying off your home, free and clear home, doesn't pay you any money. You get no check in the mail. You still got to pay taxes, insurance, right? Water, gas, electric, mow the yard, paint the house, replace the roof, replace the water heater, the air conditioner. Money, 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 money going out, 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 and nothing coming in. And that's the way I was until I figured it out that that's not what an investment really is. An investment means I invest in something, it pays me. Immediately I start getting checks in the mail. Boy, that's a wonderful thing. Check in the mail, 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 check in the mail. Oh, oops, there's an expense. Who cares? I've got all this money. I can afford the expense. Check in the mail, check in the mail, check in the mail, check in the mail. God, it's boring, isn't it? You must hate hearing that I just get check in the mail, check in the mail, check in the mail. Nowadays, they don't even use the mail, by the way. Nowadays, they just draft it in your account, and there's money in your account, money in your account, money in your account, money in your account. I didn't even put it there. Somebody else put it there. It's just drafted into my bank account. Wow. What an amazing thought. What an amazing thought that you can just live the rest of your life with people putting money in your bank account for you. You don't get up and go to work. Although there is some coverage to your investment, you do need to pay attention to your investments. Some investments you have to pay more attention to than others, depending on what you've invested in. And that's an educational thing that today's not the topic, but it's out there. You can pick that information up. We had a guy on the other day, a couple of days ago, who said, Del, I didn't listen to what you said. You told me forever that I shouldn't be working in my business. I should be working on my business. And one day my wife just cornered me and said, hey, you got to stop this insanity. And he said that very week, I just stopped. I got somebody else to come manage my stuff. We loaded up 2 cars, moved to Florida, and got a house on an island. And for the last 5 years, they've been living on an island. I said, how did you manage to do that when you said that your life was so busy managing these 40 different rental units and your wife was going crazy, you were never around? How can you go from super busy to not busy at all? He said, I just finally listened to you, did it the right way. Wow. Now he lives on cash flow. In fact, he's doing so well, he's buying another 13 units down in Florida now where he lives so him and his son can do something together. He can create some legacy and start working his son towards retirement. He already retired his wife. He already retired himself. Now he's working towards his son's retirement. So he realized rule number 2, there's got to be cash flow. If there is no cash flow, there's nothing. But now we're going to hit on rule number 3. Rule number 3 is you can't get rich slow. Yes, my friends, everything opposite you've ever been taught your entire life. You've been told you can't get rich quick. That is a lie. In fact, it's not only a lie, it's probably an anti-Christ type movement in this world. What do I mean by that? Well, by the way, if you make money slowly, you'll never get rich. To get rich, you've got to make a lot of money, and preferably over a very short period of time. You can't make a little money for your whole life because you will spend it all. And if you don't, by the time you get to be old enough that you were willing to spend any of it, you're going to be old and decrepit and probably trained yourself out of the ability to enjoy life. So there it is. Somebody wrote a book that was a complete lie. The Millionaire Next Door is a lie. Because the guy next door isn't a millionaire unless he made a lot of money in a very short period of time. Yes, my friends, you have to get rich quick. You you can't get rich slow. Take a short break. Be right back with the Del Walmsley Radio Show.
Listening to the Del Walmsley Radio Show. Del will be right back with more life-changing principles in just a few minutes.
Lifestyles Unlimited is the real estate investor education and mentoring group that has been taking people by the hand and teaching them how to invest in real estate for 29 years. Our students have been so successful at creating wealth and passive income that they have won local, state, and national Investor of the Year awards 12 of the last 12 years. If you're ready to add real estate to your portfolio, go to lifestylesunlimitedpodcast.com to access our free live training event schedule.
Welcome back. Now here's some more unconventional wisdom to set you free from the man on a mission to retire America, one person at a time, Del Walmsley.
Welcome back to Del Walmsley Radio Show. We've covered yesterday and today the concept of that your quality of your life is directly related to the quality of the decisions that you've made in your life and the accumulation of the decisions you've made. And financially, there are some really bad decisions that we make along the way because we don't have some basic underlying rules and regulations in life to follow. And I've shared with you now my 3 rules of investing. Rule number 1, don't lose money. Rule number 2, there's got to be cash flow in everything I do or I won't do it. And rule number 3 is you can't get rich slow, which now I need to give you an example of what I mean by you can't get rich slow. Now, I've just made up an example. This is 100% just made up. But it's just taking numbers. It's just playing with numbers. And, over the radio, doing numbers over the radio is absolutely taboo. There's no way you can follow this. So if you're driving in your car right now, go back and pull it up on a podcast and write the stuff down as I speak through it. But we're going to start with an apartment complex. And this apartment complex produces $300,000 a year in income. So in other words, all the income we bring in from our tenants, it adds up to $300,000 in a year. But it has operating expenses, maintenance, repair, vacancy, taxes, insurance, payroll, et cetera, of $200,000 a year. So it nets $100,000 a year. That is called net operating income. And if the property didn't have a mortgage, that's how much money we would make on this property. It would be $100,000 a year. But in most cases, we don't buy the property by paying cash. In fact, 99.9% of the time, we're going to finance the property. So we'd go for an 80% loan. So an 80% loan of $1 million. First of all, we have to come up with a value. So to get the value of an apartment complex, we take the net operating income and we divide it by the cap rate. The cap rate is the rate of return that the marketplace demands to earn to own that type of asset. Now, the average cap rate for apartment complexes now is about 7%. So we would take $100,000 of NOI divided by 0.07. That's a 7 cap rate, and we come up with a value of the property of $1,428,000. Now, we got to put 20% of that down, which would be $285,000, and we can borrow $1,142,000. All right, $1,142,000. Now, we also have closing costs, loan origination fees, appraisal, survey, and all this stuff. Comes out to roughly $40,000. So we're out of pocket about $325,000. All right. Now we shift over here to the cash flow. We're going to get this mortgage of $1,142,000 at 5% interest. If the loan is fully amortized, which means it's paying it if we're going to pay it off over 30 years. We'd have mortgage payments of $6,130 a month, which is $73,000 a year, which means we'd make $26,000 a year in cash flow, which is an 8% return. All right? So we're making 8% on our money, and by the way, that 8% is going to be tax-free if done correctly because of depreciation. Now, we can arrange for a mortgage that's called an interest-only mortgage, where we don't pay the principal down at all, which we don't really care to pay the principal down because we're not looking for the thing to go down in value. We're looking for it to go up in value, in which case we are going to have more and more equity all the time by the increase in value. So in this case, with only interest-only payment, our payment's only $47.58. which is $57,000 a year, which leaves us $42,900 a year in cash profit, which is a 13% return. Now, you think about the stuff that you're getting out there, and you're probably not earning 8 to 13% tax-free. But if I'm going into a real estate deal, that's what I'm looking to earn is 8 to 13% tax-free. That's the kind of numbers I'm looking for when I'm looking for a deal. What if I don't find those numbers? Then I don't do the deal. It's that simple. You just don't do the deal. You don't just give your money to somebody, go put it somewhere, I need it somewhere. You don't do that. That's stupid. You realize if you can make 100% return, you only need to do that once or twice a year or two to get rich. All right? So now we've got it operating here. We're making 8 to 13%. And lo and behold, we go out there and we fix this thing. Now, there's 28 different ways we can increase the income. There's 9 different ways we can reduce the expenses. And with all of those options available to us, all we need is a 10% gross income increase. So of the 28 ways, we could get rid of some vacancy, rent a few more units. We could take some lost to lease units that are not rented for full market rate, and bring them up to market rate. In other words, people that the last owner didn't raise the rent on that should have, we can go in there and raise their rent. We can across the board raise the rents on all the units because they're not up to where they should be for the marketplace at the time. We can charge for utilities that weren't being charged for before. We can charge for extra services like private parking, reserve parking, covered parking, garage parking. We can have other services like trash valet, et cetera, et cetera. There's a myriad, 28 different ways we can increase the income to our apartment complex. So all we're looking for necessarily is a 10% increase in income. Now, we'd like much more, but the number that makes the whole system work is the secret number is a 10% increase in income. So in this case, we went from $300,000 a year in income to $330,000 a year in income. I left the expenses the same in this example, which is $200,000. So we're now profiting $130,000 a year in NOI, net operating income. Now, we still have the debt service to pay, and I didn't actually calculate the debt service off of the 130, but you realize that 8 to 13% has gone up now because we're making $30,000 more a year, right? So that 8 to 13 is probably now 10 to 15 or better because of the fact that we've increased the income. Now, here's where it gets interesting. At some point, we are going to realize that we have a 10% increase in income. At that point, we're going to go back to the banker and say, Mr. Banker, my property has gone up in value massively, and I want to refinance this deal and pull money out. So with $130,000 NOI and that same 7 cap rate that we talked about earlier, that would make this property now worth $1,857,000. $1,857,000. Now, we go back to the banker and say, I want a new 80% loan on this new appraised value of $1,857,000, and that is a new loan of $1,485,000. And the banker gives us that loan. We have to pay off the old loan, which is $1,142,000, which leaves us with tax-free cash of $343,000. Tax-free cash, $343,000. Now, I put down here $11,000 for a new loan origination fees, and that leaves me with $332,000 tax-free cash flow. $332,000 on a $325,000 investment is 102% return. Did I do this in 6 months? Did I do this in a year? Heck, did it take me 2 years even? When was the last time you made 100% return? And by the way, when you make 100% return, what do you do with that 100%? It's tax-free. Do whatever you want with it. What would be the most logical thing to do? Go back in there and do it again. Double your cash flow. Double your net worth again. And my friend, over and over and over, you're getting rich quick. We'll take a short break. Be right back with the Del Walmsley Radio Show.
listening to the Del Walmsley Radio Show. Del will be right back with more life-changing principles in just a few minutes.
Get total freedom in your life, safely and quickly. Build wealth and passive income so you never worry about working until you drop, losing your job, or retiring in poverty. 29 years ago, Del Walmsley founded Lifestyles Unlimited. Del has taught over 100,000 people, just like me and you, the principles of financial freedom through his national radio shows and personal one-on-one mentoring at Lifestyles Unlimited. I'm excited to tell you about the real estate workshop that has changed so many lives. This workshop takes you inside what we do and what we believe. We'll share with you the 5 ways we make money in real estate and much more. Just like your personal trainer, the Lifestyles Unlimited team will motivate, encourage, and teach you so you can get in the best financial shape of your life. Call 866-971-8970 or go to lifestylesunlimitedpodcast.com. That's lifestylesunlimitedpodcast.com to register for the workshop that will change your life. That's lifestylesunlimitedpodcast.com.
Welcome back. Now here's some more unconventional wisdom to set you free from the man on a mission to retire America, one person at a time, Del Walmsley.
Welcome back to Del Walmsley Radio Show. In the last segment, I showed you how we make 100% return on deals. Just as simple as can be. It's just math. That's all it is. It's math. Now, granted, you have to find the deal that you can buy for a realistic price. 7 cap rates, pretty realistic price in our marketplace today. It's not cheap, right? It's not cheap, but it's realistic. Secondly, you're going to have to know how to change the operating components of the property so that you can increase its income. That's education. You come to our classes, you learn how to do that. You learn how to locate, evaluate, negotiate, contract, and close the deal. Then you learn how to operate the deal, how to hire and fire and manage staff, how to do marketing and sales, right? Accounting, the whole bit. You need to know all of it. How to hire yourself an HR company to do all your payroll for you so you don't have to do it. Et cetera, how to hire your contractors and use contractor contracts to do the work so you don't have to do it. It's all kinds of things you learn how to do, right? And once you know how to do those things, then you know how to do them. It's just like riding a bike. If I told you all the skill sets you needed to have to drive a car before you ever drove one, it'd blow your mind. Yes, you need to be looking forward and looking back and looking to your sides all at the same time. That's almost impossible. At the same time, you're modulating your foot between the gas pedal and the brake pedal. While at the same time, you're listening to the radio, talking on the phone, texting on the phone, calling on, doing all this other stuff, and putting your lipstick on in the mirror. And you ask yourself, how could a human being do all that stuff? They do it every day, all day long, just drive to work each day and watch people doing that crazy stuff. Some people even getting dressed and putting makeup on in their car while they're driving. And yet with all of that stuff, it's not a problem for them. Is it risky? You bet it is. Is it dangerous? Oh, yeah. But are they doing it? Yes. And why do they feel so comfortable with it? Because it becomes second nature after a while. Same thing with operating these apartment complexes. It becomes second nature after a while. We know what we're doing, and we know how to implement changes that will increase the income. And hence, we are able to go up. And like I said, a 10% increase in the income, the gross rental income of the property, is generally sufficient to raise the value of the property by at least 25%. And since you've only got 20 to 25% down on the deal, that 25% increase in value is 100% return on what you have invested in the deal. It's just simple math. Right? It's simple math. They call it the ERG triangle, which is just very simple. The income goes up, the value goes up, and then your return goes up. Just very simple mathematics for you to follow. And so once you learn it, then you're able to use it. You're able to earn 100% rates of return over a period of time. Now let's talk about period of time. I've done it in less than 6 months on a deal before. I've done it in a year. The longest one it ever took me to do it was 18 months. That was a really big project. 320 units that I bought was 26% occupied. We stripped it down to nothing. There was nobody there. We completely remodeled it and filled it back up again. It took me 18 months. right? This is not one for a beginner to try to do. We took in $400,000 of negative carry, which is money to spend on the bills while we were making no money because we had no tenants. So not only did we have to buy the thing, not only did we have to have the money for the renovation, we had to have the money to lose money for the first 12 months. And then by 12 months, we were breaking even, and by 18 months, we had doubled its value. And that one, we actually did more than double. I don't want to tell you. I don't even want to throw it at you that it might have been 300 or 400% return. That would blow your mind even worse. But I don't know. Let's just say 100% return, because I don't know for sure. I'd have to go back and pull the numbers. I know that it was an incredible deal. And the point is that whether it's an incredible deal or it's just an average deal, let's say it takes us 2 years to do 100% return. That's 50% a year. Are you earning 50% a year? And that's not counting the 8 to 13% cash flow. Now, if somebody pays too much or somebody has a twist, like property taxes go up on you and you didn't anticipate that, which, by the way, you should have. You underwrite to that happening. But a lot of people like to close their eyes and underwrite as if that's not going to happen. And if they do, then they may only make 5% coming out of the blocks because their taxes went up on them the first year. Well, they're going to capture that in the future by raising the rents to catch up with the property tax increase. It's a period of time thing, so it slows down. You know, if they have to catch the negative, they came in at this value, property taxes went up, that brought their value down. Now, to get that 100% return, you have to first catch back up to what you lost in value, which was the amount of the taxes increase. And then you go ahead and increase the value from there to the 100%. So it might take you 2 years. It might take you 3 years. So let's say it takes you 3 years. That's 30% return plus whatever the cash flow is. So internally, when you add that all up, is that a 30, 40? What percent rate of return? Who knows? I'll tell you this, it's better than what you're getting now in whatever you're doing right now. That's for sure. Right? If you look at those numbers and you talk about that. So with this in mind, if you think about just this for a second, this property here we did was $325,000 down. What if we take one half the size? It's only $150,000 down. Really doesn't matter. Let's take one a third the size. It's only $100,000 down. If you do one a third the size and you put in $100,000 and then you double it, what does it do? It still doubles to $200,000. So the point is, it's irrelevant what it actually costs to get started in the deal, because the less it costs, right, the less it takes to double it. The more it costs, the more doubling really means. So it's really irrelevant what it costs to get into the deal. You can share that deal with other people. You don't have enough to take down a $300,000 deal, we'll take down 100 of it and let two other people take 100 also. It's possible. It's been done over and over and over for hundreds of years here in the United States of America. This is the way business works. This is the way rich people get rich. Poor people don't know how to do this stuff. That's why they don't get rich. They put their money in their 401k, they pay off their personal residence, they buy some IRAs, they buy some mutual funds, and they just hope and pray every day that someday they'll have saved up enough money that someday when they're 70, 75, or 80 years old, they can stop working. There's no retiring at 60 anymore. That was back in the days when they gave you a pension. Hey, if you had worked this period of time, there's still jobs like that, by the way. You work for the fire department, the police department. If you work there 20 years, you get some kind of a pension. Those are still there. They won't last much longer, I don't believe. I don't think the cities can actually afford to keep doing that. But for now, they're there. It's a Ponzi scheme. The government can keep raising money and inflating dollars and paying with useless dollars. So maybe they can keep doing it. But companies aren't doing it anymore. There's no more pensions out there. Very few. You know? So what are you going to do? What are you going to do? How are you going to retire? Now think about this just for a second. Our marketing claim says you can retire, and it used to say from 5 to 7 years. And so many people did it between 2 and 5 years that the marketing people changed the claim 2 to 5 years because nobody wanted to wait 7. And if you really think about it, if you take $100,000 and you double it, and it's 200, or you take 300 and you double, it's now 600. Not only is it 600, but you go back to the cash flow. On the interest only, it was $42,900 a year in cash flow. That's covered by depreciation, so it's tax-free. If you bought a second property, you've now got 43 and 43 is $86,000 a year after tax. That's more money than you take home if you made $100,000 a year. More money than if you have a $100,000 a year job. You're taking home more money with 2 small apartment complexes in this particular case. Now, you could have one larger one. You could have 4 smaller ones. It's the number of complexes is irrelevant. The number of units is actually irrelevant. It's the dollars and the return on the dollars that makes the difference, that gets you where you need to be. And so we'll call them moves. We'll call them moves. You take a move and it gets you closer. The next move gets you closer. The next move gets you there. And you're retired. You're replacing your earned income with passive income. And at that point, what do you got? You've got what we call retirement. The ability to stay at your job if you do wish to, but the ability to leave if you don't. We'll be right back with the Del Walmsley Radio Show.
Listening to the Del Walmsley Radio Show. Del will be right back with more life-changing principles in just a few minutes.
What would happen if you didn't show up for work tomorrow? For the next couple of days? For a week? A couple of months? A year? How long until you lose everything you've worked for in a fraction of the time it took to earn it? If this fear keeps you up at night, it's time to learn the strategies we teach at Lifestyles Unlimited. Start with the free workshop. Go to lifestylesunlimitedpodcast.com and find your true financial peace, like so many of our members already have. That's lifestylesunlimitedpodcast.com.
Welcome back. Now here's some more unconventional wisdom to set you free from the man on a mission to retire America, one person at a time, Del Walmsley.
Welcome back to the Del Walmsley Radio Show. Today, we finished up an article that I wrote basically about the decisions of your life leading to the results of your life. And we worked through my 3 rules for financial investing, which was Rule 1, never lose money. Rule 2, there must be cash flow. And Rule 3, you can't get rich slow. Now, we come out of the back end of that discussion, and I wanted to cover for you the alternate kind of thinking that most of you use in your world of finances. And to do this, I'm going to read you an advertisement that I got sent in the email to me directly from some financial planner. I don't know how they got my name on their list, but somehow I'm on there. And it reads as follows. Dear Del, and I won't say the name of the company. I don't want to give them any, I don't give them any advertisement for free. At blank blank, we spend a tremendous amount of time getting to know our clients. Obviously, they didn't get to know me, did they? They don't even know that I don't believe in this kind of stuff. So that we can understand their financial situation and create customized investment portfolio that meets each of the client's needs. So let me ask you a question. How customized of a program do you really need? Whatever you have saved up right now, wouldn't you like to double it in a year? Do you need me to customize that for you? Say, for you, I don't think you should double it in a year. I think you should only make 21.6% because your mental belief system does not allow for 100% return. So I'm going to customize this return down to about 4%, which will fit your belief system. One of the first steps in helping investors start to understand their financial situation is knowing their net worth. Wow. That is really some high-end financial planner stuff. You need to know your net worth. Calculating your net worth can be important for many reasons, one of which is knowing if you will have enough money to live out a comfortable retirement and leave money behind to your loved ones. Okay, 3 things wrong there. Number 1, You don't know if you have enough money to live out your days? Of course you do, or you don't. All right, that's stupid. Number 2, to live out a comfortable lifetime. What is comfortable? What if I want it to be 3 times more comfortable than what this guy's telling me it is? And number 3, leaving money to your loved ones. If you can't even figure out how to retire, why are you worrying about leaving money to your loved ones? I mean, it's ridiculous BS to put in your brain that we somehow are going to sit down with you and look at your financial net worth and tell you exactly what it's going to take for you to retire, when, how much, and how much money you can leave behind. Right? Next it says, it is for these reasons that we created this special report. Wow, special report. Measure your net worth. This free guide may help you answer important financial questions like, how do I calculate my net worth? Guys, you don't need the report. Let me tell you how to calculate your net worth. You ready? Get out a piece of paper, write down all your assets on one side, draw a line down the center, write down all your liabilities on the other side. That is all the stuff that you owe people money, right? Everything you owe on, your debts, put them on the other side. Now subtract the debts from the assets, and that's your net worth. Don't need a special report. I guarantee you, I have people do it all the time in class in 5 seconds. Don't need to download this special report so I can put your name on some list so that I can bug you like I'm bugging Dell for the rest of your life to come in and let me make money off of you. Next, do I have enough money to last in retirement? No, you don't have enough money to last in retirement. Nobody has enough money to last in retirement. What you have to do is have enough income to last in retirement. What are the risks that I can affect my future wealth? What risk can affect your future wealth? What are you going to tell me? You're going to get sick. You're going to get old. You're going to get in a car accident. There's going to be massive inflation. The government may go out of business. The world may end. The Taliban may take over. And or 12 years from now, the world will be gone because the Democrats say it's going to be gone 12 years from now. Now that I've told you all that, what has that done towards making you any better off financially? The next one, what strategies can help me grow my net worth in the future? Simple. Double your money every year or 2. That's a simple strategy, and you don't need a darn report to understand it. Do what I explained to you today to do. Go back, get out the podcast, listen to it, write down the numbers, play with them with your calculator, and understand how you're going to be able to do it. Now here's the creme de la creme de la creme. The last paragraph. Our Measuring Your Net Worth report could potentially help you get your financial future on track. Woo! By reading our report, your whole life is going to change. And if you have $500,000 or more to invest, you don't want to miss this report. Now, if you have 1 penny under $500,000, we want nothing to do with you. We're not going to be able to make enough money off of you to make it worth our while to even meet with you and talk to you. So just stay home. Don't download the report if you have less than $500,000. To us, you're a schmuck. You're useless. You're a piece of garbage. We want nothing to do with you if you have less than $500,000. But if you have $500,000, please claim your free copy. It could change your life. Well, I would suggest if you have $500,000, doubling that $500,000 is going to do a lot more for you. A lot more for you than reading that stupid report. So why don't you get your behind over here, take the education necessary. You don't need a report. You need education so you can take action, so you can double your money. Because you realize you can't get rich slow. No matter what they tell you, they're wrong. Have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow.
Del Walmsley Radio Show, teaching you the opposite of everything you've been taught so you can obtain the results you've never obtained. Join us 7 days a week. Can't get enough? Visit DellOnTheRadio.com to listen to the Del Walmsley Radio Show, access past show podcasts, and join the conversation.
The information and opinions you hear on the Del Walmsley Radio Show are those of the host, Del Walmsley, his guests, and his callers, and do not necessarily reflect the opinions of this station, its affiliates, its management, or advertisers. The Del Walmsley Show is for entertainment purposes only. Please consult a professional regarding your personal investment needs. Nothing presented on the Del Walmsley Show constitutes an endorsement, recommendation, offer, or solicitation to buy or sell any product or security.